According to gov.uk, there were 14.4 million homes that were owned by homeowners between 2015 and 2017. But the $1 million question is, how many homeowners were happy with the property that they were living in? And that brings me on to this week's video, which is the things you need to consider whenever you're going to that initial process of buying a property, i.e. you're going to view the property. What do you need to take into account, people? Let's jump straight into it.
You know what you're watching. DS Learning Finance. Whoa.
It actually might be best for us to mention the typical things that can go wrong with buying a property and sort of work our way backwards for things to pay attention to during this initial stage, like the viewing process stage, and basically save us a fortune and a heartache. So in no particular order, guys, you could have central heating issue,
boiler not working,
and then there's the original, oh, my roof and walls are falling down. That old trick. But other than that, there's nothing to worry about today, guys. Right? So the first thing I like to do whenever I'm going to view a potential home is bring a +1 with me. At least one more person. Simply put, 2 heads is better than 1, guys. There'll be things that that person notices that you will not have seen. You also need to assess the area that that house is in. Any schools nearby? Restaurants? Shops? How close is it to public transport? Where's the nearest train station? The nearest bus station, guys? And also, is the area safe? So let's say you're cool with all that, guys, and now you decide to enter into the property. What do you look for? Straight off the bat, I like to look at the arrangement of the property and the size of the rooms, basically. Walking through the front door and it being like a bedroom might get away with like student accommodation, guys, but not for my house personally. And at the same time, being able to fit, yes, a double bedroom in the room is a great thing, but having to cling onto the walls for dear life to walk around the bed, that's also an issue for me as well, guys. So you really need to make sure that you're getting a good value of money with how much footprint you're actually getting in that property. Also, you want to keep your eyes peeled, guys, for symptoms of damping and flooding on the walls throughout the whole house. You notice this particularly in the lowest point of the house, it can be an indication that there's a leakage or flooding issue. And if it's an issue with the highest point in the property, then maybe it's a good indication that there could be an issue with the roofing, guys. So you might need to re-roof that property before you're happy with it. Now, it's important to notice, guys, almost every house has damping issues, and it's just simply down to lack of ventilation in certain parts. It's one of them things, it's just nature. Eventually nature wins. But there is a line to draw, guys. Damping can cause a lot of health issues, and in regards to the flooding, in my opinion, it's always a good idea to hire a quality, competent surveyor to look at the flood levels surrounding that property. That way you're covered and you know you've done the maximum you could do to assess what the risks are of that property being flooded. There was a time when I went house viewing with my brother, and we found this nice cute little property, and it had a good amount of rooms. It had a lot of potential, guys. So what we wanted to look at was the gardens, but it had this sort of conservatory area. So we walked through and we were happy with the garden, but the agent let us look at the garden through the conservatory. But I specifically said I wanted to actually like get out and see the garden. So as soon as I opened the door, in the little corner, I saw a puddle of water, guys. And that water was not going down. And basically what had happened was that house was at like the bottom of a hill, and there was a pipe burst around that house. It was either their house or in between their house and the other house that was at the bottom of the hill. And basically what was happening was that the water was flowing down and just accumulating there. And so they had some severe flooding issues. And even worse, the homeowner couldn't even cover it under their home insurance. So basically, if she wanted to fix it, she would have to fix it out of her own pocket. And it's just those little things that you really need to pay attention to, because yeah, if we bought that property, we wouldn't have realized that. We would have gotten there and then realized, oh snap, there's an issue with the flooding. How much is this going to cost to fix it? So you really have to make sure you've got an eye for detail, guys, and look at flooding issues, because flooding is a big issue. Water in a property is not good together when it's not inside pipes. I reckon that's why the homeowner wanted to sell that property at a good price when really it's gonna make you fork out some more in the long run. It's a cold world out here. People really don't care. All the more reason why you guys need to make sure you're on top of it and you spot these things earlier on. And another thing to consider when viewing a property is the boiler and water heating circuit, guys. You need to look at this. If you checked out the last video I did where I showed you guys my property, yeah, you'll notice that I had some issues just before finalizing everything. And it was basically to do with my boiler, guys. It was expensive. I say expensive because boilers aren't cheap. They're not cheap, and there's a lot of maintenance issues associated with them. It's a knock-on effect. It's just not cheap. It's expensive. So I went through that trauma just before. So imagine just before finishing reaching that finishing line, you have this big, humongous obstacle building shaped Eiffel Tower, Big Ben shaped building just in your way. That's how it felt. And it was just such a big challenge and financially draining to fix that boiler. And that was even after doing all of the checks at the viewing property. So just imagine, guys, if I hadn't done that, imagine if it was even worse. The heating system was down, all the pipes needed to be replaced, but even more money. It's financially draining. You need to make sure that your boiler and heating working system works when you're going to a house viewing. It's important. In all, I could literally go on for hours on things that you guys need to consider. These are just the major points I consider. I do these and more, guys, whenever I'm going to view a property. And it's because you simply have to. You can't afford to take risks like that. Like, it's a dog-eat-dog world, people. And ultimately, the impression I hope I've given you guys from this video is that you need to be thorough. You need to really, really take your time. Don't let anyone rush you into making a decision. Don't let anyone rush you into viewing a property. Tell them beforehand that you're going to take your time with it. And that way they know what to expect. And I'm going to say that you should do these things, guys, whenever you're going to view a property. That's take notes. So bring a paper and pen with you. Take lots of photos, lots of videos. Because there have been times when I've recorded stuff and I didn't see it like when I was there, but when I got back home and re-looked at it, I was like, ooh, that was there. Ooh, there was an issue there. There was a crack in the wall there. And you look at it a second time and a third time, and then you start to pick up certain things that you didn't see the first time. So make sure to do all of those things. And finally, make sure to get some quality surveys with you guys to assess the fundamental parts of that property. Basically, don't leave any stone unturned. Imagine if I never went out into that garden. Imagine if I just stayed complacent, like looking through that conservatory. I would have had to deal with all of that. And rightfully so. Don't be that person that falls for that trap, guys. Be smart. You'll be thanking yourself in the end. Trust me. It's your favorite YouTuber, guys, Dami Solari. I talk about stock market investments, property investments, financial management, to giving you guys that consistent content, you know, before you guys can go back doing whatever you want to do for the rest of the day. Say it with me: like, subscribe, and share, people. What? DS Learning Finance. Whoa. Bye, guys.
Whoa.
Wow.